Hi, good morning everyone. Hope you can hear me fine. We will start in a minute. Wait for a few more people to join and then we will begin. Okay. Good morning everyone. Thank you for joining today's SSM VMS session. This is a pre-sales training where we will see in two sections. The first section we will try to understand why you need a VMS and in which projects uh, you would use a full-fledged VMS compared to a traditional NVR system. What are the differences? What are the features that you can expect when you use a VMS? So we will see that. And then in the next section, we will talk about product specific. Our VMS is called SSM VMS, Smart Security Manager. Let me repeat that, Smart Security Manager. And Smart Security Manager. All right, so this is our SSM VMS. We will talk about specific to our product, what are the how to design, what are the different recording hardware available, and if licenses are there, how to choose the correct license model numbers, what is the operating system. We will do sample project design. Both this section we will cover today. So first section before our first break, and then after the break we will do the second section. Okay. All right. Now today as we spoke, we are going to talk about a video management system, a VMS. Okay. So first we need to understand, does your project require a VMS, right? Okay, there are different types of projects. You have projects from a single camera to four camera in 20 camera, 30 camera, 100, 200, 500, 600, 1000, 2000. So there are different size of projects depending on which you have to decide whether you need a VMS and what level of complexity in the VMS that is needed. Okay, first one, and let's talk about a single camera. If you just have a very basic one camera, do you need a VMS? Not really, because you're not going to manage more than one device, so you don't need a manager to have an access to just a single camera. For example, if you I have a camera here connected 192.168.1.115. So I can go to directly to the web page of the camera. I can have the live view. I can even record on the SD card. I can view all the settings of the camera directly from the web page, right? Now, when you have more than one camera, then you will have to open one more web page and start working on those cameras, right? When you have just a single camera, it's very straightforward. You have access to the camera. When you do demos, you don't carry big high-end recording servers, you don't carry big video management systems because you're currently testing a small system, right? So appropriate to that requirement, there are, I mean, you can directly get the um, for, simply put, you can get the full functionality of the device. Okay. Now, when you have more than one device, you need to have a simple management application, right? When things get complicated, when there are a lot of devices, then things get complicated. For example, hi Rakesh, you have a question, you can unmute and ask. Yeah, Rakesh, you're unmute.
Your voice is not getting. That's why I raised the hand. Now it's hearing.
Okay. Okay, just let me know. Is this volume, is this sound audible enough?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. Okay. Okay, done. Okay. Okay. So we were talking about when you have more than one camera in a project. Uh, simply put, like this: when you have multiple devices, you need some kind of centralization because you are going to centrally manage multiple devices. What is the purpose of managing multiple devices? For example, when let me go to another. Okay, so okay, let's take this for example. When I have more than here, I have 5 cameras. Right now, I am bringing the interface together, right? I'm able to see multiple cameras in a single interface. Previously, what did I do? When I have just one camera, I go to the web page and I can manage. But if I have 2 cameras, I need to open another web page and start switching between them. If I want to export, I go to a specific camera and then export the video. If I want to see 2 cameras side by side, I need to open 2 browsers separately on side of each other and try to see. If I have 20 cameras, it becomes more complicated, right? Now, this centralized approach is to be, that's why it's called video management software, right? You have multiple devices, camera devices, you have to centrally manage them. Now, there are many things, many features that a software has that can that becomes very very tedious if you don't have a video management software. For example, you have you have let's say 100 cameras, for example. 100 cameras, you can change the settings. For example, all the 100 cameras are recording at specific resolution and specific frame rate, maybe as per your local regulation, CIRA or Abu Dhabi MCC or Kuwait regulation. You have to record at a certain parameter. You can use a VMS, a video management software, which will allow you sorry, which will allow you to centrally customize what what resolution you will record. Let me select all these cameras. You can choose, I will record all these cameras at 2 mega and I will record at 10 frames, right? If you have to do this one by one, camera by camera for all 100 cameras, it can be a tedious process. You can, when you have a video management software, you centrally apply settings to group of devices. Okay, so that is now recording management. Then on the left side, you have your camera listed here. Each cameras you can edit and let me just pull this one quick setting. Um, display, use device, no, not this one. Okay, you can change the camera names here. For example, this is camera 1, ground floor, first camera. You can put ground floor, maybe building A, and so on. So now you have option to Okay, let me write here. Q series and second floor building B, building G, or so on. So you have option to give friendly names to the camera for easy monitoring. Another point, you have option to group the cameras. For example, I have first floor. I can say all these cameras, maybe I have 100 cameras, out of which some cameras belong to first floor, some cameras belong to building B, second floor, and so on. Okay, let me just do this once again. First floor, second floor, third floor. Okay. Now, as an operator, he has a flexibility to not see the camera just as a big list of 100 cameras. He can view them as site, first floor, second floor. Now, for the operator, although he is having too many cameras, he is now easily manageable, right? If he's interested in a specific floor, all he has to do is click on first floor. All those cameras from the first floor will show up on the screen, right? If he has multiple screens, he has the option to split the monitor and bring another monitoring tab. So he can have two monitors. So monitoring tab 1, monitoring tab 2. So here I can customize my interface to see the second floor cameras. So this cameras or second and third floor cameras. On the first monitor, I can see all the critical ground floor cameras, right? Now this possibility is done through the VMS. You got it? Okay. Next, uh, VMS. Another functionality that the VMS does is to provide a mapping interface. So you have option to uh, create a map, and then you can link to another floor map and throw cameras here to see live view and so on. Okay, so when there is an event, these icons will start to blink and show there is an incident in this location. So that is one application, making life easier for the operator to identify where the cameras are, because the operators can is not a, sometimes not permanent staff. Most of them are outsourced. So having some kind of unified platform, I would say, for example, if you take the fundamentals of a VMS, there are many standards, best practices companies that give guidelines on how the operator interface should look like. For example, in order to open a mapping interface, the person should not spend too much time to locate that menu. The, for example, here on the monitoring tab, let me go back to the standard monitoring tab. On the monitoring tab, if the customer wants to have a playback, he should not go to very extensive menu options to go to a playback. All he has to do is click on this button and then click on export button. He can export the video. So if you see the user steps, within 1 to 3 steps he should be able to access that setting. Okay, then the concept of grouping cameras, mapping cameras, shortcut control buttons. You can take a quick snapshot, you can take a you can reset the alarm, you can clear the tiles, you can speak to the camera. All these quick shortcut buttons are available at easy access. Okay, now when you see all this, right click, there are some options. All of these functionalities are somewhat standard. Okay, any operator who's trained in one VMS can expect the similar functionalities across other brands. Okay, now there are, when I said the standards, for example, control room standards, they dictate. Or there is so ASIS, American Society Industrial Security, uh, they talk about the operator interface, how it should be. So and the best practices of how the interface should be designed. So many VMS companies, when they develop the software, they don't develop based on their own interest, but they base it on the best practices. That's why it will be almost similar. Okay, definitely every VMS have their own strengths. Okay, now you can, for example, you can there can be a VMS company which is having the most powerful features on the planet, right? But maybe it does not support a local language. For example, if you go to a certain part of Middle East, some places you need a specific local native language. Even in Europe, you need local language like French or Italian. If that language does not exist in the VMS, they cannot use it, right? So there are VMS is simply a software, okay, and every brand where they are based in, they have very good stronghold. For example, you may not have heard of certain brands, but if you go to certain parts of Africa, there are many VMS companies which are purely tailored for those local requirements. If you go to Russia, you have certain VMS companies that is tailored for those requirements. They are powerful and can be used in other regions, but also for us, and then some in US, some in Denmark, and so on. Okay, how widely it is accepted, that depends on localization. Okay, a company can be based anywhere in the world, but they have local staff to make the VMS locally powerful. For example, SSM VMS, this is designed in South Korea, but the features are purely tailored for Middle East. Example, SIRA requirement, MCC requirement, Kuwait MOI requirement, other Minister of Regulation requirement. All of this require customization to our VMS, and they have been done in our VMS to make sure they comply with the local regulation. That's what makes this VMS powerful. Why? Some of you are based here in UAE. The moment SIRA regulation applied in around 5 to 6 years, 5 years back, many VMS companies disappeared. Okay, excuse many VMS companies, they stopped because the SIRA regulation is purely for Dubai, not even for Abu Dhabi. So, of the 100, 200 plus countries in the world, only one city required this customization. So, this is the thing that makes VMS acceptable in your region. Okay, so there are many. Again, we have replaced many VMS, many big VMSs, sometimes even more powerful VMSs we have replaced in our region purely because they did not comply with SIRA requirement. Okay, all right. So having a VMS, for you have to make sure that it will meet with your local regulation if applicable. Otherwise, you can choose any common best VMS options for you. Now, as I said, a VMS is a software. The VMS companies, they provide the solution in two flavors. Flavor, which means um, initially, initially when the concept of VMS came, uh, it was about open source, which means you can buy your own hardware and install the software. No dependency. They will not tell you you have to use a specific brand. They will only tell you you need specific processor or RAM card. Right? Done. However, however, every I mean, when that particular thing started, so many issues came in the field for large projects because the uh, Dell or HP, they keep updating their hardware and they don't test really with a VMS. They just test for typical Windows and standard things. So with that said, and there used to be the blame game. When there is an issue, the VMS company will blame the hardware company will blame the VMS. So to avoid that, now VMS companies itself have started supplying tested hardware. They don't make it, they just supply to you already hardware with pre-installed. For example, let me pull out that slide to give you a short brief. Yeah. So here we have built in. recording service. Yeah, you can see these are XRP record. This is our own hardware with the pre-installed SSM VMS and licenses. Let me go back. PRP, PRO, these are recorders which we supply with the built-in VMS to manage 100 camera, 300 camera, depending on the model number. And you can use it as per your project requirement. Now, what is the benefit here when you buy this? It is already tested. Second benefit is why customers require VMS. In the what is the fundamental reason why a customer wants a VMS? First thing, features. Second thing, open source. Uh, I mean, it's a Windows-based software. Simply put, it is Windows-based. Okay. Now, in your laptop, you have a Microsoft Office, let's say, running. If you have the old version and you want to update to some new Office application, you will uninstall and reinstall a new application. Okay, tomorrow, if you're today you have, let's say, you are working with some IT software, and tomorrow if you want to remove it, you can go to add remove program, uninstall and reinstall some other IT software. So your laptop is flexible because it is Windows based. You have option to uninstall whatever application is there and use the same hardware to install something else. Okay, so that was one of the fundamental requirements for uh, uh, end users or consultants going for Windows based recording application. Okay, which means they will buy their own hardware like Dell or HP. Why? Because they have some agreement with HP or Dell for good pricing. They can buy the best processor, best RAM card, everything at good pricing, but they will only use the VMS software and install on that. They'll buy the best SAN storage in the market. They are not forced to buy what we provide, right? So this is what they want. So that can be done. So when VMS vendors are providing their recording hardwares and servers, they also give you not fully, but they give you that flexibility that it is Windows based. You can repurpose the hardware. Tomorrow you don't want our VMS, you can uninstall, install something else. So same way, when I said we shifted some other VMS projects to ours due to non-compliance, because it was a Windows based hardware, we uninstalled and reinstalled our VMS on it. So for the end user and operator, that conversion cost, they don't have to repurchase all the hardware. So that flexibility still remains. And most VMS companies are using when they supply the hardware, they test it for that 300 camera recording capacity or 128 camera recording capacity, and it will be somewhat similar across the board. Okay, so it should be okay unless the VMS is very complex and require a very high processor. Still, you can convert. Maybe instead of 100 camera, you can take 60 cameras capacity and something like that. But that fundamentally you can reuse the hardware. Okay, done. Now, just to reiterate, initially when the VMS company started, it was all about open hardware. You can buy whatever hardware, install the VMS software. When you do that, there was a complication. People were complaining why this is not working properly. This RAM card is not maybe not supporting properly, something like that. The BIOS is not properly tested, or some. It could be many issues, right? Many open issues. So then the VMS companies itself started providing their own recording hardware as an option. It's not mandatory, it's up to you. Now, why did the VMS companies first of all start this option is if you take 100 projects, 99% of the projects will be within a certain number of cameras, will be below the 2000 mark or below the 1500 mark in that region, right? So if you take 99% of the projects at 1500, based on that, they will design a hardware and keep it ready for you. Okay, of course, that 1% of the project where you need very large storage capacity and so on, you can still go with the third party hardware and so on. But majority of them, they don't have to take that headache They can just rely on one vendor solution, get that flexibility as well, which is Windows based. So for future, if they don't want, they can change easily and so on. Got it? So this is the overall background of VMS. Now, uh, in between VMS, there used to be a Linux based, or there is still a Linux based solution. Now, let's say we did an example of one camera, then we did an example of 100 camera. In between, you can have 50 cameras, you can have 30 cameras. A residence project may have 60 cameras, 40 cameras. So when the camera quantity is less, uh, uh, there is another segment in that solution where the customers, when you're buying and installing a 40 camera project, you don't want to spend a lot of time installing any software. If it is Windows based, you have to do the installation process. If let's say you're not buying this hardware from us, you're buying your own hardware. So that means you will buy the hardware, you will make sure you install Windows, you will install the install, maybe set up that server IP address and this and that. You will set up the install the video management software, and couple of things you have to do, right? It's not plug and play. If you buy these hardware built in, somewhat plug and play. But if you're buying your own hardware for a 40 camera project, you still have to go through some the checklist. You'll buy hardware and you'll check with the vendor, this is working, can it work, this RAM card is okay, this CPU is okay, this many cameras can it record, the storage capacity is okay, all that extra stuff you have to do. But for a 40 camera project, you don't have the time for that kind of in detailed engineering, right? And also once you supply the detailed level of configuration, so for those there are projects with, there are devices called NVRs, network video recorders. Okay, they are coming in typical 32 channel, uh, 64 channel, 4 channel for small projects. If you have a residence project, you go fix the camera, add the NVR, and you will okay, let me show you the NVR quickly. So right now what you're looking at, this is the interface of the NVR. Okay, I'm using a Windows PC to log into the NVR. Okay, I'm not directly on the NVR. This is the web page. I'm logging to the web page of the NVR. Okay, how does the NVR look like? If you let me go back to another slide to show you. So this is an NVR device. It looks like a server, but there is a difference. These NVRs you see here, these are NVR dual power supply. It has many options, a lot of redundancy options. They are purpose built hardware. Remember the word purpose built. Okay, so purpose built, which means, okay, NVR, some NVRs even have ports at the back. You can directly plug the camera. So we had a bank project. They had around 800 branches. They didn't want to invest 800 switches, so NVR itself will have a built-in switch. So this is one. So then failover, all that stuff is there. It is coming in 4 channel, 8 channel, 64 channel, up to 64 channel. So but the operating system is Linux. You got it, Linux. Now when you buy this device and you go to the web page, it is pre-installed with Linux. However, you can use Windows PC to do the configuration. Okay, so here you cannot uninstall the software. Whatever is installed in that hardware, you cannot go and uninstall. You only have access to the web page. Just like a camera, you cannot uninstall a camera, what is running in the camera. Same way in an NVR, what management is application is running, you cannot uninstall that. So that flexibility is not there. Second, it is plug and play. If this NVR is PRN6410, if you see the model number, PRN6410, that means it is good for 64 camera. No license is required. Directly add your camera, Hanwha camera, OnWave camera, you third party cameras, you can add that, start adding, uh, you can record, manage the recording of the 64 cameras. Some you can record motion, all that you can do, but it's like a mini VMS, not 100, 200, 500 cameras, but 64 camera, 32 camera, and so on, right? So in between the large project and the single camera, you have this, of course, 4 camera, 8 camera device. Okay, so you have NVRs. Let me, so you have NVRs, which comes in different shapes. So we have NVRs with a 4 channel, very small NVRs. You have bigger NVRs, so with one hard disk, two hard disks, 16 hard disk, and so on. So based on that, you can use this NVR concept. But remember, NVR, it can only manage 64 camera maximum. So when I go to the live page, I can monitor multiple cameras, but when I have 65 cameras, I have to open one more web page and go to another NVR, because this NVR1, you cannot have more than 64 cameras. So if you want to manage two NVRs, just like a camera, I have to open multiple web page to manage multiple NVRs. So it becomes again complicated. So when you have a large cameras, you have you go with the full-fledged VMS. Okay. So now to answer the question, uh, your project your project, let's start with the basic residence project. A residence project has 40 cameras, right? You want to deliver the project with the most efficient method. Okay, when you look at the project, they need basic security: camera, dome camera, outdoor camera, and recording, reliable recording. So if you buy a cameras, you buy the 64 channel NVR, and you connect behind the NVR, you have monitor outputs. So if you see in the photo here, you have HDMI, VGA monitor output. Some NVR have redundant power supply, redundant fans, redundant network port. So all the redundancy, failover functionality, all that is there. If you want to get this project executed at the most efficient manner, you go with NVR. Similarly, you have a university project. There are 5 buildings. Each building has 50, 50, 50 cameras. So you can put 50-50 cameras locally in each building. You can put an NVR, and and okay, so you have 5 NVRs. When you have multiple NVRs, you can still add a VMS on top of the NVR. For example, if you see this schematic, I have here, let's say, a building with 6 NVRs, and I want to centrally manage them together. Okay, what's an NVR? NVR is network video recorder. Network video recorder. It's a mini VMS. Okay, why is it called a mini VMS? Because let me pull back a bit. Share this slide. Okay, NVR, VMS. NVR, it looks like this: 64 channel and 16 channel NVR. Uh, it's a purpose-built hardware, first point, which means it can only be used for one and only purpose, is to record video. You cannot install some other application. If it is Windows based, you can install 2 applications in one PC because it's Windows. You have the flexibility. NVR is running on Linux. It is purpose built for only one operation. It's already pre-configured with the management software. It has a hard disk slot inside, so it can manage the recording of the cameras. Behind the NVR, there is monitor outputs, HDMI and VGA, so you can connect monitor and do the client operation. So if you're the client, you can monitor the video, you can play back, export. There are USB ports to connect your keyboard, mouse, all that you can do. It's a small mini VMS. But when you have a database of 1,000 plus cameras, then you need to split the services, which means you have to give a bigger hardware just for managing database. You have to give a separate hardware just for managing recording, or basically you have to scale up the CPU, scale up the RAM to handle more devices. Okay, so okay, now that aside, don't let's not okay, let's just focus back on the NVR. So you have, when you have small projects and less complexity, plug and play installations, you go with network video recorders. Okay, done. Now when you have a university project with multiple buildings or multiple showrooms, for example, let's say, or multiple branch offices, so the total project may be 2000 camera or 5000 camera, but every branch has only 60 cameras. In that case, you will still go with NVR, because as an operator, you go to, as a installer, you go to each branch, you carry an NVR, plug the camera, connect to the network. Then centrally, central head office, you will install a VMS and add all the NVR together. Okay, so this flexibility is also available. For example, when if I go to my VMS here, SSM VMS, so I am back to my SSM VMS. I have the option to add PRN NVR. So I have the option in my VMS. So here I have option to add two types of devices in my VMS: register NVR device or register camera device. If you have if you have a purpose built an NVR from our brand and it has been installed in multiple locations, or within the same building, different branch, I mean within the same property, different buildings or different locations, but all in the same local network, and you want that ease of, I mean you want that hardware, NVR hardware, which is easy to install, just small cameras in each location. So if you want that, you can still use the VMS to centralize your NVRs. Centralize your NVRs. Okay. So our VMS has that feature. Okay. Not every VMS has that option. Our VMS has this option where you can even uh, connect proprietary devices from our own, of course from our own, which is our own NVRs. Okay, now why did we add this feature in our VMS? Okay, today let's say you start with one branch. After 5 years from now, you have multiple branches. So in this case, when you started, you had only one branch office, you bought one NVR, or you have one residence property, you bought one NVR, or you have one shop, you brought one NVR. Tomorrow you have 10 branches. So in this case, we don't want you to forget about this old hardware, and we don't want you to change it. You can bring that existing hardware to the VMS. So we are having this option called backwards compatible, where our VMS can also support these small recording devices, and you can just add it to that. So here I have added a PRN. Let me show you how I can add. Click recording device. I have so many NVRs. I can add all of them. These are out of network, so I'll remove that. So whatever cameras, oops, let me process password. Not sure. Okay. So anyhow, let's say I think its password has been changed. So you can add all the NVRs to the VMS here. Okay, all the NVRs you can add. So I added now two NVRs. Whatever cameras are there, maybe 30 camera, 20 camera, you can add it. Okay, an example of this project. Bank Al Jazeera project in Saudi, there are 5,000 cameras, but across 800 locations. So there they are purchasing some places 8 channel NVR, some place only in the branch, I mean ATM areas 8 channel, 4 channel NVR, branch office is 64 channel, but in the central head office they're using SSM VMS and they add all the NVR here. Done. So what is the benefit? The they want to commission every week at least 5 6 branches, 5 6 ATM locations, right? And the best way is they buy take this NVR, directly plug the camera behind the NVR and plug it to the network. It's up and running. They configure the recording, done. They don't have to worry about buying certain windows and installing software, nothing like that. So that that is easy. Also, also NVR is proprietary hardware, right? It's not Windows and other things. So it is very affordable. You can simply say it is less than half the price of a Windows-based recording system. If you buy a laptop, easily you need another at least a 3,000 dirham investment, minimum 3,000 to 4,000 dirhams. But an NVR can cost for that same, I mean, for that specific 64 cameras or even 30 cameras, or for example, there minimum laptop is 4,000, right? But for if they go for the 8 channel NVR, probably 1,000, 1,500 like that. So it is very affordable, right? And practical because it's already purpose built. It will work with that particular cameras. It will connect to the VMS. It has been tested, already tried product. So it's more easier for them to do that installation. Now let's take project 3. Project 3, let's say you have you can have an airport, or you can have exhibition let's say exhibition halls where one public, it's a public gathering space, right? Shopping malls, public gathering space. You will have 3,000, 2,000 cameras, right? And having to record all of them, you will not record in 20 30 NVR because that makes it more difficult, because they're all in the same location, but you put 20 or 30 or 40 NVRs because it's 64 channel, for example. Let's say uh, let's say 2000 camera project, you buy a proprietary NVR, 31 NVRs you require, right? So if you buy this NVR because it's cheaper, but in the long term you have a lot of headache to manage these devices, right? You need a bigger footprint, IT footprint, you need more racks, you need more power, and when you want to replace certain hard disk, you have to manage all of this different too many devices. Okay, excuse me. Yeah. So here, what is the ideal option? Now you have to switch away from NVR here. Now you have two options. One, you can buy you can buy it depends. For example, there are servers supplied by vendor, can be us or it can be any other third party VMS company, any brand. They may have 200 camera per server, 300 cameras per server, 100 cameras per server. So we have, for example, 360 cameras per server. So when you have 2000 cameras divided by 360, you need 6 servers. Okay. So with some spare, let's say you need 8 servers you need for this project, which is manageable in this case. Done. This is one option. Another option is um, you will still need, okay, for example, let me see. Uh, So this is one server. It has built-in 16. Some of them have 24 hard disks. So this is with built-in storage. This is option one. Another option is you can for this project you can say, yeah, I like this server, it is Windows based, everything is fine, but I don't want built-in storage. I want to buy a separate storage from maybe SAN storage, SAN unified storage. Let me show you in Google images. It's EMC. So let's say you're buying some kind of SAN storage like this, a big block of just a storage. Then you'll buy some servers from Dell like this, and you will have centralized storage. If you want this, no problem. You will purchase third party Windows servers, uh, SAN storage. You can do this option. Okay, but what's the benefit here? All storage, all storage of 2000 cameras is sent to a single storage unit. Okay, what is the difference compared to this guy? Here, each server will have 300 camera storage. Okay, but common central SAN storage will have all the 2000 cameras. You will map it to a one storage unit. Okay, you will make partitions in that and you will map. Okay, and you will still need servers. Okay, storage is one. You will still need 8 recording servers mapped to SAN storage. Okay, what is the purpose of this recording server? They will manage the recording. Okay, they will, where you will add, for example, let me show you what is the purpose of a recording server. Okay, so here if you have a recording server, you can go to the camera and you say, um, for example, I want to record this camera, and where is that? Scheduling settings, profile, record normal. Settings. Okay, yeah. So here you can say, I have here 3 cameras. You can record each camera for a certain number of days. Basically, when you do recording, there is some kind of application called recording service. It knows which camera IP address, MAC address is located in which part of hard disk. It knows which camera, it has a password of all the cameras because it is recording and you have to access the playback, you have to access the footage, you need to know the password of the camera. Some cameras will record only when there is a motion, only when there is an alarm. So that recording service will keep on monitoring the motion and alarm, and based on that, it will start the recording process. Some cameras are recording for extra number of days. Maybe it is near the critical area. Maybe it is having the high value assets. You're storing some high value equipments. You will record for 1 year. So this recording service, you can say to that particular camera, you record for some cameras record 300 days, other cameras record 30 days. So even recording, there is a lot of functionalities available. So who's doing that? Recording server is doing that. Okay, now the recording server is managing all the cameras, record their recording parameters, their recording location, and that location can be a local location, which means it can be locally in that server, or it can be centrally located, which is a SAN storage. So you can tell in that server, uh, I will manage all the camera, but the recording will be dumped on a central storage. So you have the option when you use a Windows based SSM VMS, you have the option to choose for large projects built-in servers with built-in storage, or you buy your own server with central storage. Okay, like I said, when a VMS company is supplying recording servers, they keep in mind a majority of the customers, because they cannot they cannot also, we cannot be Dell, neither can Dell be Hanwha. So we cannot give you all the functionalities of a third party server, SAN storage and all that things. But taking into consideration most projects within the 2000 limit, we have certain set of recording servers. So if you have 2000 cameras, you'll buy 8 of these servers and combine it in the VMS. Okay, the VMS has the option to merge multiple servers into one location. So just like you add in the VMS multiple NVRs, you have the option also in the VMS. You have two servers, you can combine it as one system. Okay, so that functionality is available in the VMS. Now back to the VMS features, we talked about you have the live view, playback, you can export the video, uh, you can see here timeline with some blanks, and so only when there's event it will record. You have option to export the video with masking option, which means you can mask certain areas before you export the video. May be required, may not be required, that option is there. um, you have the option to export with a schedule. You can say I will export on a certain time, don't have to worry. I mean, you can make a list, schedule list, or you can put auto export, so every day at certain time it will export the video. So even just for the functionality of export, you see so many features are there. That's what you have to keep in mind. A VMS is a software. The depth of features depends on vendor to vendor. Some vendor, every vendor will have export video, right? But some vendors, when you do this export video, you can select this one. You can, you have this masking feature extra. You have option to put a password when you do the export. uh, you have the option to check how much of storage will be used during the export. You have the option to export multiple cameras. Some vendors will have, you can export 60 cameras at a time. Some vendors will have only 4 camera at a time. So that depth of the features will change from vendor to vendor based on their experience, their requirement in their country, their most projects on what basis they are doing, that changes, right? So here you have the option of multiple options just for export. Then we have here called, okay, now on the right side you have events tab. As and when events occur, you have the live pop-up of events. So when a person cross the door, you can see motion detected, so it is playing back that video. So crossing, another event. So when I click on crossing, so yeah, when a person is crossing the door, it triggers a crossing event. So I put a line, whoever crosses the door, it will trigger an event. So these are live events. Now when you have 100 cameras, it's okay, but when you have 2000 cameras, you need to manage the events. That's where VMS comes into picture. You have option here called filter. Filter with high priority events only, remove normal events. Filter with events which that particular operator is focusing on. Maybe one operator is focusing on a group of cameras, another operator on another group of cameras. So you have the option to filter events related to specific cameras, related to certain cameras or all cameras. So that level of management at the operator level you can do only through a VMS system. Okay, so now you get the idea how VMS is different. It's not just dumping storage and managing cameras, but to what level it things make, I mean, makes it easier to manage larger set of cameras. Okay, then AI best shot is basically, yeah, when the camera see, if you have AI camera, it tells you, okay, I've seen a person wearing a red shirt, a yellow top, and blah blah blah, all that. Okay, now this is fine. Next is searching for events. There are two ways to search. There are two cameras available today in the market. One is the AI camera, artificial intelligence camera, or normal cameras. First, we will see normal camera. When you have a normal camera, you do event search and you select all the cameras and you say, I'm looking for all the events. Let me see today. Okay, all the events. So it will show I registered on camera. I was watching this video. What event search? Camera registered, camera modified. Okay. Then another option is to search by AI data. AI data is if you have AI camera, you can search by person, gender, male, female, and make your search a bit more easier. So you can see it detects, okay, there's a person wearing blue shirt, black bottom, not carrying a bag, and male, and so on. So what is the benefit? You will know exactly when the person came, at what time. This guy came at 4 o'clock in the morning. So they come for the regular cleaning. So you can see their activity starting from 4 o'clock. Then another option is advanced search. Okay, so basically every camera is sending data, but how you centrally uh, use the data depending on the incident, depending on what the operator wants, that's the job of VMS. Okay, so if a VMS can make things easier for the person, yeah, well and good. So I have here, I think this camera, not yet recording. Okay, let's see if I have any door. Okay, maybe let me try to search here. So I can draw a line and see if who crossed this area. Need to be configured. Okay, not yet. So motion. I should have enabled on the camera for this to work, but it's not enabled. So let's see if I think this camera will have, yes. So here, let me draw the line. Right. Okay, so let me pull out advanced search. Advanced search. So here you can draw any camera from us, any camera from Hanwha. Okay, there is something called metadata search. You can draw a box and say, show me all the incident that happened in that box. Who was the first person to enter? Who was the last person to enter? Or how many people entered throughout the day in this area? So you can do this, but first you have to go to the camera and turn on this feature. By default, the camera is switched off. You have to turn it on. So here at 5 o'clock, there was some activity in the scene. So directly you can go and to find that incident. How is it beneficial is if you don't have certain features like this and I want to figure out who entered this door, I have to go to playback and try to play the video in fast forward mode and sit and watch for that entire day, right? So that is one camera. If you have multiple cameras, can be more time consuming. So the objective of the VMS features having this is to help the operator search efficient. Okay, you can find similar features. Some vendors can do differently, some vendors may not have it. So that depends on VMS to VMS. Okay, but The objective of VMS is to make the life easier for the operator to manage multiple cameras centrally for live monitoring, for playback, for exporting, for event management, for alarm management, for recording management, all that functionalities to do centrally and most efficiently. Okay, there should be a difference. If you have a VMS, it should make life easier for the operator. Okay, now not only is VMS job limited to CCTV, a VMS can also integrate with third-party system. It's a Windows software. It's a software at the end of the day. It can integrate. For example, most VMSs, most CCTV projects are having access control. Most CCTV projects will have some third-party systems. So you can bring together a common interface within CCTV. For example, you can integrate the VMS with access control. When you integrate, if someone swipes the card and he was denied access, you will get a pop-up. Access control is telling you access is denied. So alerting the operator and saying, I denied access to this person. But access control does not have any video, right? It's only card reader. It cannot see. If you see these access control readers, they don't have camera. So you need to depend on a CCTV to get eye verification. Who's this person trying to enter? Okay. And the second thing, when a person is entering with a certain ID, his photo is here. But is he the same person who entered the property? ID verification, because access control cannot see take video. So you need to have a CCTV combined. So this is something which is very common in our market. CCTV and access control working together to integrate the system, that is possible through VMS. But if you have only one camera directly with access control, uh, options are limited. If you have only one NVR, you want to integrate with access control, options are limited. But when you have a VMS, this is a functionality that can be expected in a VMS. Okay, so when why you need a VMS now? When you have large projects, second, or if you need integrations, you need that flexibility, integration flexibility, you need to go to a VMS. SSM VMS, here we are focusing on SSM VMS. Okay. All right. Okay, we can integrate with multiple systems. You can have integration to here we have it our own access control. We have a Honeywell access control, JC access control, Gallagher, Siemens, Kerry, NetApp, Lenel, Maxis, Bosch intrusion, Honeywell intrusion, stand to 4 command intercom, and of course video guard, Sierra integration, all that. These are the part of the VMS functions. Okay, excuse me. All right, so we've completed the first section about a VMS. Uh, s- we covered the basics of the VMS, what features it can do, and in the next section we will focus on SSM specifically, and with SSM specifically we will see how to design a project. Okay, so before we close the first section, there is also a function called dashboard. uh, Let me close and open again. It's been open for a long time. So here we go, close this dashboard. So dashboard tells you uh, centrally how many cameras you have, how many servers you have, what is the hard disk status, and so on. So at one glance, you can have an overall look at all your recorders and servers and so on. There are many other functions, PTZ control. So if you have a PTZ camera, you have PTZ control, and you have sequencing. Sequence means what? It will switch between layouts. It will play the first 10 camera, then it will play another 10. We will see all that in the next session. as we go through the VMS explanation and design. Okay, so uh, let's take a break and then we'll be back. Okay, let's resume. Okay, I have some raised hand. Musab, you want to, you have something? Please, uh, you can unmute and ask your question.
Hello, sir.
Yes, hi Musab.
Uh, Sir, I want to ask you what is the difference between
Slightly louder, Musab. Slightly louder.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. I want to ask what is the difference between the built-in video management for Hanwha and between such like Milestone, Kinetic. What is the difference?
Okay. Okay. Um, okay. I will explain that point. Okay.
Okay,
Any other question?
thanks.
Okay. 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 Farid, you have a question? You can unmute and ask. Farid Ahmed. Rakesh also, you can unmute and ask. Yeah, Farid.
Hi, so we have one project requirement. Okay, so the server itself. So we need to purchase the server separate and the SSM VMS separate.
So back to your question, you have a project in VMS and you already purchased the hardware.
Yes, yes, with hardware.
Which hardware you have purchased?
Not remember that one.
So if you have purchased from Hanwha, this recording hardware XRP 360, then that is already configured. All you need is client PC is all you need to manage the recording live monitoring.
Okay, okay,
Okay, now I'll be covering that part now so you can get more clarity.
okay, fine, okay.
Hi, Priyada, if you have a question.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. This is regarding earlier when we were speaking, you were told about third-party servers. We use a SAN storage,
Yeah,
and then we need to give additional recording management servers also, right?
yeah, yeah, correct.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I just want to understand, as in how many, how do you calculate how many number of recording stored, I mean, management servers you require?
Okay, okay, done. And so that in our VMS is different. Every VMS is different.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, so there is something called server calculator. When you put around 500 cameras and you say I'm using
Okay.
certain server spec, it will tell you for this server you can use two servers. If you use lower, maybe instead of Xeon, if you're using i7, you can use three or four servers like that. So,
Okay.
but some vendors, for us, what we benchmark it based on number of cameras. Every 300
Okay.
cameras, we have one server, and the spec is i7 16 GB RAM like that. So
Okay.
I will be covering about our product today, how many servers to consider, how to take it.
Okay. Okay. Great. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Rakesh, you have a question? Okay. All right. If there are any further questions, you can just click on that raise hand, or you can also ask in the chat window or Q&A section. Feel free to ask your questions. Okay. Now we're going to study the system design, during which the three questions which someone asked, I mean, who attended now, so it will automatically be taken care of when we talk about it. Okay. All right. So VMS. Let me take that. Okay. All right. SSM VMS. Now we focus on SSM VMS. What can it do? Okay. And how to design. SSM VMS is simply a video management application. Okay. One of the attendee also asked what is the difference between a VMS and DVM. I believe it's the same, video management. If the word video management and a system, if all this is there, it's more or like basic function is to manage video devices as well as some additional external devices, which is third party devices, access control, intrusion, intercom, maybe some IT equipments. Some VMS can also integrate with IT devices. Maybe they are manufacturing IT devices. That's probably one reason. So we are also now going to integrate with IP speakers because we are launching IP speakers as well. So but the main function of a VMS is to manage video and related security devices. Access control. Why? You need video footage. Who's entering? Intrusion. Someone intruded. You need video. What's going on? Intercom. If someone is making a call, phone call, you want to know who's making the call. So you need a camera to look at that location. Speaker. Same thing. Um, if there is a video event, you want speaker to speak some recorded audio. Someone is trespassing, you want the speaker to speak a recorded audio. So a video will send a command to speaker to speak the audio. So all this is the integration scope done. Now a fundamental VMS here for us, our architecture is very simple. A video management system, SSM VMS system architecture is very simple. uh, Let me pull out that slide. Okay. SSM, video management system, we have only one hardware or one, uh, or you can say, um, okay, let's rewind back. A traditional VMS system used to, let's say 4 years back, or even earlier, a traditional VMS, video management system, used to have a management server, MG or MGMT, management server as a minimum. They call it database server. What is the purpose of database? It will have the IP addresses of all the cameras. It will have the IP addresses of all the recording servers. It will have the usernames and passwords of cameras, user rights. Some users have access to all cameras. Some users have access to specific cameras. All that user rights and everything is managed by the management server. It also manages, yeah, devices like cameras are added. So the related uh, devices, recording servers will be added to management servers. So that will be, it will just manage the data and the passwords and access rights and all that stuff in the management server. Then a traditional VMS also has a recording server. Okay, management is not recording. Management is only having an idea how many recording servers are in my project. Okay, how many cameras are in my project, which camera is going to which recording server, all that basic information it will have. But the recording server, so will have, okay, it will be assigned to every 100 camera. So if you go to the milestone VMS, there will be calculator to find how many recording servers required. If you go to our website, we have toolbox where you can say I have 100 cameras, how many recording servers are required. It will do the calculation for you. So what is the job of recording server? Recording server is the one get is doing the hard work, which is receiving the video footage and processing it and sending it to built-in storage if it has built-in hard disk, built-in storage, or it will send it to a central SAN storage. It will take the storage and push it to central SAN. Okay, so a recording server is also mandatory. Now recording server, okay, is handling the key part of the bandwidth. If you have 5 megapixel, it is handling that 5 mbps connection per camera. A management server is not looking at the video footage. It is only talking and checking the IP address and password. So there is no big data transmission happening there. only the recording server is the most processor intensive. It is receiving, if you have 2 megapixel camera, 100 cameras, 200 mbps of data received every second. Okay, and each second it is receiving 25 frames per second or 10 frames per second, and it should not lose even a single frame, right? So that processor should be fast enough to handle 200 into 10 frames, 2000 frames per second, right? It has to receive and record it and manage where it is recording, and add all the event data if there is a metadata, all that extra stuff it has to do, right? So the recording server is the most processor intensive part. That's why a recording server will always have some limit called throughput limit. It can handle 500 mbps, it can handle 600 mbps, some can handle 1000 mbps, some can handle only 200 mbps. So depending on that CPU RAM, it can handle certain number of throughput. Okay, if some vendors will specify throughput only. Some vendors will specify simply number of cameras. We specify both. Our servers can handle 520 Mbps. So if you use a 2 megapixel camera, around 260 cameras you can add. We also have a new recording server with 700 Mbps. If you add a 2 megapixel camera, roughly around 350 cameras you can add. Okay, so this is the what is mentioned. So now based on this, if you have 2000 camera project with 700 mbps server, right, and each server can handle 350, you need around 6 servers. This is how you calculate. Okay, now of course, higher the server spec, higher the price. So that flexibility is your choice. You can choose, uh, of course it is uh, it less number of servers will also reduce the price. For example, if you're going with a cost effective server of 128 cameras, 1000 2000 by 128 camera, you need 16 servers. But the same thing, if you use 2000 camera divided by 350 camera servers, you need 6 or 7. So you need less than half. 16 servers versus 6 servers. Definitely 6 server will be, each server may be expensive, but 6 servers will be cheaper than 16 servers for sure, right? So when the difference of camera quantity is very high and the number of servers is more than double for sure, even if you use a high-end server, the cost of total system will be cheaper than using a cheaper server. Okay, so this flexibility lies with you, how to choose and all that we will see. Next is a traditional VMS has a management server, recording server. Okay, what is management server? How many cameras it can handle? A management server can handle all the cameras in the project. You have 2000, 3000, 10,000 cameras. It can manage because it is only checking the camera information only, events from the camera. Camera received motion event. Okay, it will receive the event. Camera, like I said, IP address and password, it will keep that data. So but it is not processing the video, right? So it's not processor intensive. So management servers have a good capability of handling 2000, 3000, depends on brand. Some vendors can go 10,000 cameras also. Okay, then media gateway server, it is optional, in the sense it is optional to be separate, but it is mandatory. It can be combined with recording server or it can be combined with management server. Sometimes some vendors will have management plus media gateway. Some vendors will have recording server plus media gateway. What is media gateway? Media gateway is if you request live video, if you request playback video, that means you are sending a request. That request is processed by media gateway service. It will check whether this user has access to the camera with the management server, and once that management server says, yeah, this particular operator has access to the camera, then it will send a command to the recording server and fetch the data and send it to the client, send it to the operator. All right, so that is media gateway. It can be running inside anyone or separately. Okay, then high availability server. Back in the day, if you want to do failover, excuse me, Sorry, I'm just recovering from a bad flu. So, high availability. High availability means, what if management server failed? That means all 2000 camera, you have lost access. You cannot log in, right? So you can have a standby server for management, high availability. You can have one more. It's the plus is there. You can have as many as you want. You want recording server. What if recording server failed? All 300 cameras stopped recording. So you can have another standby server, failover server. Okay, or that is separate. So this is high availability. So this is a traditional VMS system. Okay. Now, um, this recording server, it can be anything. You can have NVR, you can have our XRP, PRP vendor provided hardware with Windows, or you can buy Dell server, any local server which of your choice, commercial hardware, and install our recording application on it. Okay, same thing, management server. Some vendors, they supply again their own management server, Windows based Windows server, install that software on it, or they will tell you you can buy your own server, install only our management application. Okay, so that is one. Okay, now VMSs, SSM VMS is now following a new architecture. Okay, many VMS have now started following this architecture because of the same principle. Most projects within the 2000 to 10,000 camera limit, they can follow this architecture. Okay, beyond that, you still have to go with the traditional method. But for large projects, I mean, today most VMSs have migrated. So this is called the architecture difference. Okay, uh, we use this where a recording server, management server, media gateway server, all of this high availability service, monitoring service, everything is merged into a single device. So today, if you want to buy a VMS, you don't have to invest in multiple servers. You can just buy one and have all the application running inside. Why? Because software has become efficient. The coding is efficient. Things are much more simpler than it used to be. Okay. But some vendors have not migrated because they cannot simply change the architecture. Okay. For example, if you take big brands like Milestone and Genetic, they are there in the market for a long time. They have plenty of integrations. They have each system in access control, they have like too many integrations. Not only access control, they have integrated so many systems. If they change the architecture just like this, all the integrations has to be redone. So they cannot simply change just like that. It will take gradual, slowly. Okay, so they still follow the traditional method. For us, we still and maybe they have updated. I'm not 100% sure. I cannot speak for the brand, but most VMSs where which is not in that scale, we for us we can easily migrate because we have a set of integrations of access control which we commonly use. We migrated them quickly. Okay, so that we follow this latest architecture, so that is one difference. Okay, so today if you want a VMS system, you need only one server for a 300 camera. But if you use a traditional VMS, you need one, two, at least minimum. And if you want failover, you need another two, four servers you need with a traditional VMS. One management server and failover management server. One recording and media gateway server plus failover recording and media gateway server. So total four servers. But in the new architecture, if you want failover, all is combined in one, so you need just one more, two. So your hardware footprint reduces with the new architecture, so we follow this. Okay, so one of you asked how is it different. Simply, the VMS difference is, for us, if you use our VMS, you can connect our NVR to your project. Okay, but if you use Milestone Genetech, they don't have support for NVRs. They cannot, because they are only making VMS. If they integrate with an NVR, that means they will charge one NVR license, but you will connect 64 cameras to NVR. So that is not possible. I mean, for companies which are purely VMS, like Mouse or Genetic, every camera you have to pay camera license. Okay, but with the VMS like SSM, if you already have our NVR, you don't have to pay any camera licenses. Okay, if you want to buy your own server, then yes. Okay, anyway, I'll come to that separately. Uh, so the licensing part is different. Okay, and that is one. Of course, milestone integrate genetic, they have more integration options which you will not find in our list. We have a set of integration, but the amount of integrations that they have is much higher. Okay, if you have some very special projects, I want to integrate with radar, I want to integrate with some special some new sensors or something like that. We have also relay contacts, sensors, atom modules, but there are some special applications maybe they have. Okay, so just check, we have as many as possible. We have third-party integrations, analytics, and traffic, and we have some, but they may have much more, the depth and options. We may have just with one vendor, they may have 20-30 vendors, so you have multiple options. So that strength still lies with them, but for most projects you don't use that, so you don't have to pay that extra fees to the thinking you may use in the future, right? Most projects need a good CCTV with integration to access control and certain other security systems. Simple. They need video wall, they want failover, all that can be done in the most efficient, less server and and more cost effective method, plus locally compliant to regulations, right? So that is there. Okay, but if you still need some specialized installations, yeah, they have that option. You can consider other VMS also. Okay, so if you straight away ask what's the big difference, integrations is one big difference, and price wise you pay more versus you pay less with uh, VMS, which will cater to most projects. Okay, all right, and then our VMS can speak to NVRs. So NVRs, as you know, 64 channel, you have multiple buildings with 64 channel. For example, the bank project, Bank Al Jazeera, 800 branches. They bought around 800 plus NVRs, right? They didn't pay a single camera license because the NVR, when you buy our NVR, 8 channel NVR, there is no camera license required. And the VMS is free to use because they already purchased our recording units, NVR. But if they use third-party VMS, they have to pay 5,000 camera licenses, right? So that was the difference. We were able to make a big impact by providing the right hardware, because in an ATM you need only 8 camera. You don't need a big server and management and application. Well, that's not required. Secondly, and it's a distributed system and centralized monitoring. So this option works best. There, a milestone concept can work, but price will be exponentially higher. Okay, so that is one difference for us. Okay, next, and yeah, so next our this is what you see, we call it core server. Hi Rakesh, you have a question?
Is there any limitations to adding the NVS in the VMS? Means like how many quantities of NVS we can add it in the VMS?
Yeah, so there is a, every server you can add around 300,000, sorry, 3,000 cameras via NVR. Like I
Okay.
said, which is good for most projects, right? One server can handle 3,000 cameras via NVR and up to 10,000.
Okay, that will be depends on the camera's quantity only, not for the NVR quantity.
Yeah, only for the camera quantity. So sometimes you're using 4 channel cam NVR, doesn't matter. So 3,000 by 4 channel NVR, or you use mix, no problem. Total
Okay,
is
I have
3,000.
the, for example, I have the site of the different sites having NVS only, like 10 or I have 100 NVS, 100
Uh,
locations, NVS only.
uh,
That 100 NVS can add it in the VMS. There is no
yeah,
limitation for that one.
correct. So you can do that 100 NVRs, but just keep in mind, like I said, 100 NVR. Each NVR how many? 30 channel, 64 channel total. The
Yeah.
total channel should be below 10,000.
Okay. Total channels. Below. Okay. Understood.
Okay.
That means 10,000 cameras we can add it in the VMS.
In that VMS through the
Yeah.
NVR.
Through in the
Yeah.
NVR.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Done. Then okay. So oh, okay. So this is that server. Sorry, servers that we talked about, where all in one, right? This all in one architecture I talked about. This is that server. So in this server, you can add cameras. If you're adding camera directly, if you're adding camera directly, the recording is happening on the server. If you're adding NVR, the recording is happening on the NVR, but the server is only managing the NVRs. Okay, so there is a difference. When you add the camera directly to the server, that means it's recording also. So recording takes a lot of processing. So there the limitation will be each server 128, 200, 300, depending on that model number of the server. Then if you're using NVR, just now Rakesh asked, NVR itself is recording, so that main load is taken care by the NVR. Each server can handle 3000, and you can add one more 6000, another 9000, another one, total 10,000. That 10,000 is just a software limit. Some projects we have gone to 15,000, 28,000 with some conditions, so we can do that. But by default, we are saying 10,000 for when you use NVR or DVR connecting to the core server. Okay. Now, when you use NVR, DVR, you're already buying the recording unit from Hanwha. So no need to pay any licenses to use our VMS. Also, if you're buying our cameras and our recording server, which is XRP, PRP, all these models, if you buy this XRP, this is 128 channel, or PRO, PRP, these are new models with again 128 or 300 channel. Again, it is pre-license, you don't need to pay license. But if you want to use what is that, if you want to record the camera on your own hardware, you will you will buy our camera, but you will buy some third party recording server, maybe like I said HP or Dell. In that case, you are only installing the software from the website. That time we charge you camera license. So you have three options: NVR, no license. If you buy our recording server, which we have already pre-configured, pre-license, no license is required additionally. A third option is license based, where you're buying only camera, everything else you're buying from third party, recording server, storage server, everything, and you want to use our VMS software, SSM VMS. Okay, if you buy, if you do the recording outside our hardware, then there is license. Okay, take of this example. If you buy Milestone VMS, they are a VMS company. You buy camera, they charge you camera license. Genetech, you buy camera from any brand, they charge you camera license. Okay, for us, you buy our camera, but if you buy same like Milestone, if you buy some third party hardware for recording, we charge you camera license. Our VMS cannot be simply given free. We have free option for 16 cameras, which we use for trainings and demos. Anybody can use lifetime. All our licenses are lifetime. So again, one of you asked a question, how is our VMS different? We don't have a recurring license cost. Every license or every hardware you buy, it's, I mean, it is lifetime support in terms of the VMS. Okay. So if you buy uh, three servers, yeah, so three servers with 300 cameras inside support, you don't have to pay every year for software upgrade. Our VMS, we update twice a year. We update the version at least twice a year. So every version you can freely upgrade as long as you want. So we have customers upgrading from 2.10.1 to now 2.11. So around 12 revisions we had in the last 6 years. So customers were freely upgrading, so we don't have recurring license costs. So that is one. This is our policy. This is how we approach our customers because we have more products. We are not only VMS company, we make camera, we make NVR, we make recording servers and so on. So our focus is slightly different compared to a company which only makes software. Okay, then so your VMS, you have so many options. You have cameras, you can directly record on the server, Hanwha server or third party server, cameras, or you can directly add the NVRs to the server. Mosab, you have a question? Yeah. Hi Mosab. We cannot hear you. Okay, Rakesh, you have a question?
No, no, no.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, Musab.
I just want to ensure for something, some information.
Yeah, slightly
Does
louder, please. Yeah.
hello? Does
Yeah.
Han one?
One
Um,
second. I cannot hear. You have to be more loud. Mine is full volume. Can you make it louder? Question.
Hello?
Yeah, please. Same voice. Yeah.
Okay. Does Hanwa sell chips for another brands and chips, internal chips,
Another
like
brand of
Samsung,
cameras or
Amirat, or no? Does they produce chips, give it to
we
another
support
brand?
other brand of camera, but NVR we only support our brand to add on our VMS.
Mm. So chips, you can Hanwa can buy the chips for another brands.
Yeah. So
Does does
I
this
didn't.
right
I
to
cannot
understand?
hear that part clearly.
Uh, How I can write? I did not find the place to write my question.
Okay. So this. Okay. If you see here, I didn't get your question. Are you saying you cannot find the list of camera supported? Can you type your question, Mosa, better in the Q&A session? I will answer. I will answer to that one. Okay. All right. So now let's go back. Now let's focus on the. Let's take example. Okay. Let's take example of a project and bring out a BOQ for your system. Okay. First, let's take uh, let's take the NVR project. The project has 6 cameras, and one of them asked a question. I have 100 NVR. Okay, so you can take in this example. I have 100 NVRs, and let's assume there is total for 3000 cameras. Okay, now camera NVR. What is NVR? Linux based proprietary hardware, all built in, multiple branches, recording. Yeah, so here you can buy, if you want to centralize, you want to have a VMS, you'll buy one server, you'll buy a HP or Dell server and install SSM. But because they already purchased the NVR, this VMS will not ask you to pay any licenses. You will directly add the NVR and start monitoring. So this is what I did here in the VMS. I have, this is my server, and I have added an NVR PRN. PRN is NVR, and I have 2 cameras connected to the NVR, and it will be, I can monitor them, playback, group them, and do events, pop-up, email, all that functionality of VMS. I can do mapping and everything integration, and I can have multiple NVRs listed. It will not ask me for to pay anything because when I'm adding NVR. Okay. Mohsin, Hamza, you have a question?
Yes.
Yes.
How many cameras supported by the SSM for live viewing?
Okay, good point. So we have at the moment 132 cameras you can view. When I tested around 131 to be very specific, but this layout supports up to 132 live view. Yes. We
No,
use
no. I
yeah, Musab, sorry,
just I'm
Mohsin.
I'm asking about the license. How many cameras can I add for the SSM? Because I see that it was 180, 28, I guess.
Uh-huh.
What if I have more than this number of cameras?
Okay. So you have NVR in the project?
Yes,
Okay. See, let me show you here. Let me, I have camera, I have an, let me delete this. Okay. This is not what you're saying is I have 128 camera license mentioned, correct?
yes.
I added NVR. NVR is having two cameras. Did it use any license
No, for recording?
for recording, playback, live view, full function?
No,
It
no,
will
no.
not, no license. Yes. So even if you buy a server, it can show you license, maybe trial license 16 channel, or you paid for 120. It doesn't matter. If you add NVRs, it will not consume any license.
Yes, I know this point, but what if I have about 400 cameras
Uh-huh.
and I'd like to add a live, I'd like to add the cameras itself, not the NVR, to the
Ah,
SSM.
perfect. Okay. Yes, I'm coming to that example now. First example I'm covering is NVR. Second example, I will cover the example that you're asking for. Yes, I'm coming to that.
Okay,
Okay,
okay, thank you.
thank you. Okay, so first example is when you want a VMS with multiple NVRs. Okay, 64 channel, 32 channel, that solution. Okay, why? You have again, if you take again 100 projects, depending on the country, you have maybe 500 cameras. For 500 cameras, still NVR is cheaper. Okay, compared to buying expensive servers and so on. So that's why I'm still considering this example in our explanation. Okay, residence projects, small hotels, um, small universities, supermarkets, any kind of projects, they will buy NVR, and they will not have only one, they will not have just a single NVR, they will have four NVR, they will have three NVRs, maybe six, and they want to centrally manage. So there you will buy one SSM and install, add all the NVR together to the management, and no need to pay any camera license. For the VMS, also it's free. Like I said, you add the NVR, it will not consume license. You can have up to 20 clients per server. So here, each server can handle 3000 cameras through this word NVR. Very important. NVR is recording. That's why it's 3000. And if you have maximum 10,000 per domain. What is domain? Domain means group of server. Each server 3000, 3000, 3000, up to total 10,000 is recommended. Okay, and every server you can have 20 client. 20 client is very good. You can have if you have 40 clients. So roughly speaking, client PC, operator PCs, 20 people can connect to that server with 3000 cameras. They can do live view, playback, and so on. Okay, mostly sufficient. Okay, and I have a question. If you purchase camera from third party and NVR from Hanwha, it will be suitable. Yes, you can buy a camera from third party. It should support OnWIF. You can add it to our NVR, and the NVR you can add it to our VMS. NVR also will not take license. VMS also will not take license. So that can also be done. It is possible. Okay. Next is what is the server spec? Actually, let me open. Let me open. Okay. Now again, take this project. I have 5 NVRs, XRN, PRN. These are ending with letter N. They are NVR. Okay. I have centralized monitoring requirement. Okay, so I will buy one SSM PC, or I'll buy one PC, install SSM software on it. Okay, now this PC will connect to all 5 NVRs. It This PC supports up to 3000 channels via NVR. This PC spec requirement is i7 16 GB RAM. Okay, this is the spec for the PC. i7 16 GB RAM. If you have monitor connected, every monitor, okay, if for example the customer has four, make it simple, two client PC operator PC with two monitors each. So he will buy same i7. He'll buy two operator PC with i7 16 GB RAM, same as server, plus if it is two monitors, 2 GB graphics card from NVIDIA. What's the difference between the server and the client? Except the graphics card, it is the same. The server where all the NVRs will be connected, i7 16 GB. Then if he has two PCs or one client PC or four client PC or 20 client PC, each client PC will require i7 16 GB RAM and 2 GB graphics card. Now, if the project has only two NVR, 64 channel, total 128 channel, in this case, you can buy one PC with 2 GB graphics card. Okay, he has only one client PC and one server. So the customer requires just one PC for monitoring. So no need to buy server and client separately. Merge it, add some graphics card to the same spec, to the same PC, and it is okay. But 128 cameras max. Otherwise, we recommend you split the function. Okay, keep the server separately, all the client PC separately. Small projects, okay. Why is it okay? Because our SSM server, you can install that management, I mean that core server, which is, what is core server? This is the core server. This core server you can install, or this core server you can install Windows 11 or Windows Server operating system. Client, you can install Windows 11 in Windows 11. So if you have a small project, you can install the server and the client in the same PC with Windows 11. Small projects, okay, it is okay. Then if you have large projects, split it. Add all the NVRs to the server separately. You can use any one. i7 16 GB RAM with any of the operating system, and as many clients as you need. Clients don't require license also. We don't charge licenses for client PC. Okay, doesn't matter if you use our recorder or third party recorder, clients don't require license. Only the recording function. If the recording is happening on our hardware, no license. If it is recording on Dell hardware, then there is a license. Okay, now next option is, okay, just an example. I have camera 1500 cameras recording on NVR. I need one core server. All the NVRs will be added here. I can have as many client PC. Both spec is i7 16 GB RAM. If you have one monitor, 1 GB graphics card. If you have two monitors, 2 GB graphics card. Three monitor, 3 GB graphics card. Four monitors, 4 GB graphics card. Maximum is four monitor per client. If you want more monitors, add one more client PC and add monitors. Okay, so another example, you have 3000 cameras, one server can handle all the NVR, no problem. You can have client PC separately. Now, now a question comes. Customer says, I have one server, I have six cameras, everything is fine. But what if this server failed, which is handling all six NVR? The client will lose the video. It is recording. Recording is not lost because recording is happening on the NVR, but the client will lose live video because all the NVRs are connected to the servers. You see the arrow, all the NVRs are connected to the server. The server gets the request from the client and sends the reply. So if the server is down, the client will lose the communication with all the NVR. So for that, we have option of failover. What is the function? If the server fails, all the NVR will be transferred to the standby server. If the server fails, all the NVR will get transferred to the standby server. Is there any license for this feature? No need to pay any license because you are already purchasing our NVRs. No need to pay. How do you activate this failover? It's also very simple. You go to the SSM and in the configuration tab, you add the second server, server 1, server 2, you add both, and you say failover, just enable failover. That's it. No need for complicated process. Just a click of a button, failover is enabled, and if the server fails, all this NVR will get transferred to the second server. Hi Imran, you have a question? Yes, please. You can unmute and ask. Yeah.
Hi, Samuel. Yes, Samuel, regarding this failover server, so do we need to have any third-party software or, I mean, this server will be active or active standby?
Active,
How it
active.
will be?
It is
Yeah.
active, and you don't have to pay or install any special application. It's built-in feature.
The one that you showed, right? Just we need to enable it, right?
Exactly. You don't have to worry about downloading an SQL or anything like that.
Correct, correct.
It's all
Yeah,
built with this one.
really wonderful feature, really. Thank you, Samuel.
Okay, thanks. Okay, now this part is done. Next part is, if you are going with the, recently or just now someone had asked a question about uh, directly recording. There is no NVR in between. He is having a 500 camera project and he wants to use big servers with a higher capacity and record. He will buy the server from Hanwha, or maybe he'll buy from Dell or third party. Okay, so if you want to do that method, we act like Milestone Genetech. Like we are a VMS company now. You will buy our camera or any third party camera, but use our VMS. Okay. In this case, you have two options. In this case, when you are not purchasing a record, the basic 16 channel, 32 channel, 64 channel NVR, you have two options. You have the option to buy a Windows based recording service called XRP, or Windows based recording servers called PRP. There are two models, actually three models. Let me come to that. Pre-sales, just a second. Pre-sales training part 3. Just a second, I'm loading. Okay, so for higher density recording, 128 channel, 72 channel, the first type of recorder is called XRP. XRP. P means PC based, Windows based recorders. The difference is this is Windows. Second difference, it is again pre-licensed. So it's like you're buying another NVR but pre-licensed with SSM. Okay, and it is running on Windows. Done. So you can buy this unit for 128 cameras. Okay, or there is another option, PRP. This is also 128 channel. Then we have PRO. This is the latest. The for UAE we have this 360 channel. For Qatar, where you're recording for 120 days, or Abu Dhabi 180 days, we have the 128 channel with more storage, 24 bay storage. Okay, so these are two models. It's actually released, and it's not to be released. It is already released, and pricing is available. So these are again our hardware, recording hardware with pre-installed SSM and pre-licensed and everything. No need to pay license because already pre-installed. Okay, so when you do this concept, now let's take the project. Let's take the project of 1000 cameras. First option, you are directly recording on the high density XRP or PRO, any of the recorder, okay, SSM recording service. Okay, so if you're doing this method, let's have a look at the architecture once again. Direct recording. Go back to this. So VMS architecture with direct cameras and no NVR in between. Actually, the NVR that no NVR means that NVR in between, okay? But you still need to record. So that recording is now happening here, okay? So this particular server is now managing M and it is also recording. So both in one. All right, there is no, here you're not buying this branched out NVR, you're doing everything together. Okay, so in this case the number of cameras per server will be limited to the hardware spec or the throughput. I said 500 Mbps, some are 700 Mbps. So we have 128 channel, 360 channel. So these are the two popular ones. We will take example based on this. Okay, now same concept, you can have failover. Okay, failover function, all that is same. But what's the difference between the NVR and this? Each server can handle only 128 or 360, and then you can group the servers. But the previous one, each server can handle 3000 cameras because the recording is already done in the NVR. Okay, now let me take the example. Second. project example. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now let's take this 1000 camera project, and I'm using a PRO recorder. Who's supplying this? This is from Hanwha. Okay, and it has pre-licensed 360 camera licenses. Okay, so for this particular project, I will require how many servers, how many PRO? 1000 divided by 360. So I need 3 recording servers. Okay, and um, the model number is, you will decide, 7510. Okay, 7510. So model PRO 7510. Okay, now next step. Hi Mohsin, you have a question? Yeah.
The screen is freeze.
Yeah, okay, now I just fix it. Is okay now? So I have 1000
Yes.
cameras. I am using a PRO recorder, which looks like, which I showed just a second back, and it supports 360 cameras, pre-licensed. So 360 channel 7510. So I'm using a 7510 model, 3 recording servers. Okay. All right. Now, okay. Now this three servers are used. After that, now the customer says I also have operator PC. Operator PC, maybe 2 operator or 3 operators. 3 operators. In this case, I will buy local PC i7 16 GB RAM with 2 monitors, 2 GB graphics card. I will purchase 3 PCs. Again, for this, no license. So your system is ready. This is all you require to have your SSM VMS system. Okay, any licenses? None, because you're purchasing a hardware called PRO. It comes pre-licensed for 360 cameras. Got it? This hardware is already, it's like a large size NVR. It is already, we can say, pre-licensed or pre-supported or pre-configured to support 360 cameras. Okay, so you can add up to 360 cameras in this hardware. If you don't need this many, you can use 128 channel. But if you use 128 channel option, there is no license. Okay, here PRO, it is built in. If it is confusing, license is built in. There is no need to pay separately. Okay, if you're using 128 channel, then in this case you need 1000 divided by 128, which will be roughly equal to 8. Depends on the model number that you're choosing. Okay, now let's do a comparison here. If you're using NVR, PRN, NVR, if you're using PRN, NVR, maximum is 64 channel. So 1000 divided by 64, I need around 16 NVRs. Okay, and for to have SSM VMS with NVR, I need one SSM PC minimum. Okay, to add 3000 cameras, then we can call it the SSM, and this is the SSM PC. No, these don't require any. I need one SSM PC here and add all the NVRs. Okay. When NVR is used, there is no licenses required also. NVR with SSM is free to use. Now, all the NVRs are added to SSM one PC, one core server, right? Um, Here in the Windows based, you have three servers and they're already Windows, so you don't have to buy separately a management server. You don't have to buy a separately SSM management PC. You don't need it. You just need three, merge everything as one domain, and that's it. You don't have to buy any addition to this. You don't have to buy any separate servers. Only three. It's all every server has got built-in database, built-in recording service, built-in client management, media gateway, all is built in, and it is already Windows. So you don't have to buy any additional server to install SSM. It is pre-installed in PRO or XRP concept. But when you're using PR and NVR concept, they are all Linux based. So if you want to have a VMS, you need to buy one PC where you will install SSM and add all the NVRs to SSM. Okay. Whereas when you buy PRO, they're already Windows, so you just don't need to buy separately additional hardware. Okay. So again, an example with 900 cameras. If you're buying NVR with 64 channel, you need 14 NVRs, and the control room has two operators, two monitor each. You will buy one PC and you will install SSM on it. Each can handle 3000. And if you want failover, you can add one more. That's okay. For each operator, you'll buy two PCs. Because they have two monitors, you'll buy 2 GB graphics card. Okay. Overall, no licenses required because you're purchasing a Hanwha NVR. Okay. Next option. If you're purchasing PRO or XRP, these are Windows based servers. This guy XRP is 128 channel. So if you use 900 cameras, you need 128 numbers. If you want failover n+1, if you need recording failover, you'll buy one more XRP. And the control room, if they have two operator, two monitors each, you will buy for each operator PC, you'll buy two PC with 2 GB graphics card, Windows 10, Windows 11, you'll buy that. That's it. But you don't have to buy another management PC which you used to buy with NVR. That is not required when you're using a Windows based XRP or PRP recording service. Okay, now next, integration. If you want to integrate with third party access control, there is a license required, one time license. We call it transaction license. You can buy this license. um, the model numbers are listed in the PowerPoint, which I'll be emailing you, called transaction license. It is one license for the entire project. Okay, so you'll buy with this license, and if you have this license, you can integrate with any of the access control or two access. If a project has two access control, no problem. If a project has access control and intercom, no problem. Just one time license to integrate with multiple systems, and you will install this license in any one. If there is one SSM main PC here or any one of the servers, you will install the license. That's it. So for integration, you need a license, but this integration is free if you are buying Hanwha access control. Any third-party access control, it is, you need one-time license. Next, we also have video wall function. What is video wall? If you have too many monitors, if you have here, I have 1 2 3 4 16 monitors. If you have 16 monitors on the wall, the operator, he will be having 8 PCs or 4 PCs. 4 PC means 4 monitors each. If he has 8 PC, 2 monitors each. So if you have 8 PC, he has to go and change from each PC those view. right? If he wants to change monitor number 10, he has to go to the PC which is connected to monitor 10, change the layout. So that is time consuming and a bit more hectic process, right? So we have an option where you can centralize your video wall control. This is option. It is not mandatory you need it. If you are comfortable to go to each PC and change, don't bother. Don't need to add this feature and complicate your project. If the operator's customer says I need a video wall function, and he says I will just sit in one PC and control all the monitors from one PC. Okay, that means he will sit maybe in one separate supervisor PC, or he will sit in any one PC. He can remotely control the layouts connected to PC4, PC3, PC2. He can remotely control other PC's layout. Option, not mandatory. Okay, if you want this feature, you will buy video wall license. Okay, and it's this license is not for monitor, it is for the PC that will be controlled. If the manager wants to control 3 remote PCs, 1, 2, 3, so each PC has 4 monitor. It doesn't matter how many monitor you're connecting. If you are going to control 3 PCs remotely, you need 3 licenses. This PC can have 1 monitor, 2 monitor, up to 4. Okay, so here I have a manager PC somewhere separately. There is no license for manager. He is going to control 4 remote PCs and 16 monitors. So 16 monitors are connected to 4 PCs, so I need 4 license. So back to the example, if the customer has 16 monitors on the video wall, first you need to buy a PC to connect the video wall. You'll buy a PC with i7 16 GB RAM, 4 monitor each, so 4 GB graphics card. You'll buy 4 PC, and these 4 PCs will be remotely controlled by any one PC or maybe some other PC. It doesn't matter. That doesn't require license. So these 4 PCs are to be controlled, right? So that means you have to convert this PC as a video wall PC. So you will buy a video wall license. So we call it video wall decoder license. 4 quantity is required. So the model number is VD10L. You need this per PC, per decoder. Every PC is a decoder. You can have 1 monitor, 2 monitor, 3 monitor, doesn't matter. If you want to control that remotely, you need to pay that license. Okay. So here 16 monitors are controlled by 4 PCs, and I want to remotely control all 4 PC from one location. So I can change the layout from one PC, and for this function I need 4 quantity of license. What else can you do with this? You can merge cameras. For example, you have one camera, you can merge across 4 monitors. One camera, you can merge across 16 monitors. So that is the functionality of the video wall. Also, 2 functions. You can remotely control all the monitors. You can remotely merge one camera across multiple monitors. So 2 functions you will get. Again, to remind you, this is an optional feature. If your customer does not require, you don't have to propose and increase the price. Okay, so these are the functions of SSM VMS for a typical CCTV installation. Okay, so there is one thing that I did not cover yet, that is actually covered in pre-sales part 1 training, how to do storage calculation. So we have our website called hanwa-security.com. This is our main website where you can find information about our VMS. So let me just show you quickly and we will close for the day. Okay, okay. First it will go to Korean language, change it to English, and then under products, surveillance software management, surveillance software management, SSM is a video management, so it will come under management. Under this you will find SSM. Where is that? Here, this guy, SSM. Click on this, you will see the Features, you will see the download option, brochure, manual. You can even download the software. It is free for 16 cameras. You can download, try. It is free for NVR, so you can download. No need to register or anything like that. You can just download it directly from the website. Okay, so that is one. Next is we talked about recorders and appliance. PRO. We talked about PRO. It is here. Actually, more PRO. Let me type here. One more model is there, PRO 7510. That is for Middle East. I think it should be here. Then there is also PRP. PRO. PRP. PRP recording servers. Then XRP. This is there in the slides which I'll be giving you. So these are recording devices. And what is the thing? It is SSM recording server. It's already Windows based SSM recording devices. Okay. Now, toolbox. This is a toolbox. The toolbox is used for calculating storage, calculating the camera recording requirement. This is covered in part 1 training. I will be sending you a link, YouTube link, how to do storage calculation. Okay, because it's already covered in the previous topic. Uh, we'll be just giving you an example how to do the storage calculation. But remember this, Toolbox Plus is used for storage calculation. Once you have done the storage calculation with the number of days, you can change the recording parameter, frame rate, continuous recording, how many quantity, 1000 cameras. Then from the recording, we have here XRP, PRP. PRO is not yet added. We will add it. So once you do this, you will go to NVR. You will check how many. Uh, um, I think this you can do manually. If you have 100 cameras and if you're using PRP, you need one PRP. Okay. Or if you are using XRP, you need one XRP or two XRP. So when here, let's say I have 1000 cameras. I go to NVR. I need 8 servers. I can choose the hard disk, 12 TB hard disk with the RAID 5, 12 TB hard disk. So I need this. So this one I will be sending you a video link how to do the toolbox. But remember, PRP, you can see it is 128 channel, right? So you divide the total number of cameras by 120 channel. And in each PRP, when you go to the website, you will see how much of hard disk it can handle. So we are exceeding slightly from our time due to this extra explanations. Just apologies. I need another just 5 minutes to close this session. Uh, PRP. Let's take PRO, which is the latest one. Okay. So PRO. Let's say you decided to go with PRO 7310 or 7510. 75 is the 360 channel. So if you're going with this, each server you can add, it's 24 bay. This is 24 bay, but these servers don't come. It supports 24 hard disk, but hard disk is not included. We have to buy locally. So you go to support data center HDD compatibility, and you will download this list, click open, and once you have decided which server to go with, so let's say PRO 7510. Okay, if you're going with PRO 7510, you can use this 12 TB hard disk model number. You can use this. Um, then if you are going with 7310, there is also support for 18 terabyte hard disk. You can use this model number. So even 18 terabyte will be supported with 7510. So you can buy the hard disk separately. Okay, so again, let me repeat. When you're buying a PRO recording server, when you're buying PRP recording server, you will get the chassis, you will get SSM pre-installed. It will have support for 128 or 360 cameras, but that hard disk slot is empty. You have to insert the hard disk, and you have to buy it from Seagate or Western Digital. It's up to you. You can buy. We can check with us, which is a recommended list. This recommended list is posted on the website under support, data center, HDD compatibility. Okay, once you download this list, enter the model number in the control F, search, type the model number of the server. If you're using XRP, type XRP 4310, you can type. You can find the supported hard disk model numbers listed here also. If you're using XRP recorder, if you're using PRO, type that model number and choose the hard disk and buy it locally. Whoever gives you the best price, take it from them and insert it. Okay, so we are not forcing you to buy the hard disk from us. You can buy it from local market, but we recommend to use this from the recommended list. Not any hard disk is suitable. You have to buy surveillance drives, which is listed here. We update this list every 2 to 4 weeks, keeps on updating because the brand hard disk companies keep changing their hard disk model number, so we also keep updating this. Okay, so that is about it. So VMS, you have to, when you get a project, first you decide whether you need to go with NBR and VMS or a server based VMS, right? If the project is multiple distributed branches, small projects, just buy two NVR, three NVR, 64 channel, put one PC, uh, put one SSM PC, and give that customer the full VMS experience with a cost-effective recording solution. So this is what we saw here. When you have this is what we saw here when you have multiple and NVRs. So multiple NVR, you buy one server, 3000 cameras, easily you can add via NVR. Done. You can even do failover, so no need to pay license on this. Then next option is when a customer says, okay, I need to go with a different type of system. I will not buying the low cost NVRs. I'm buying a service, 100, 200 camera, 300 camera support. No problem. You will buy for every 360 camera, you'll buy one server, or every 200 camera, 100 camera, depending on the model number, you'll buy the server, and that's it. And if you want failover, buy. If it is n plus 1, just buy one more. Okay, same model number. If it is n plus 2, buy two more. Whatever the project requires. Don't buy 8 plus 8. That is n plus n. You don't need that. Look at the spec. If the customer says I want n plus 1 failover, if you are buying 8 PRO servers, buy one more. Same model number recommended. That's it. Okay, and because you're buying from us, PRO, XRP, no need to pay licenses again. It's all built in. Okay. Lastly, if you want to buy your own servers, you can buy your own server, and in that case, you can buy HP or Dell, but you will have to pay camera licenses. That is what is mentioned in this part. If you're buying your own HP server camera license, you can buy bundle license, maximum 128. Okay, but if you buy our server, you have option of 360 built in. I didn't cover this part because it's not very popular now after we launched the 360 channel. So if you still want to buy third party server, you can just get in touch with us. We can explain that, but it is there, option is available. Next, if you want to integrate your SSM with third party system, you buy one transaction license. If you want video wall control, want to remotely control multiple monitors from one PC, merge camera across multiple monitors, you buy a video wall license. Done. So that is your SSM solution. Okay, the whole idea is to make management simple of multiple cameras, multiple NVRs, integration from one single VMS operator interface. That is VMS. Our VMS is called SSM VMS. It is tried and tested for Middle East. It supports Arabic language. It also supports local integrations as required. The, and Yeah, it is as much as possible. It is license free. That is the main difference, and it is lifetime support. So in terms of software upgrades, so that is a benefit um, for us. Okay, so yeah, so it has its own place in the VMS market. It is there in the top 5 or top 6 globally. So it is a very powerful system in terms of features and so on. It supports mapping, grouping, layouts, alarms, pop-ups, email integration, alarm events, prioritizing alarms, sequencing, whatever is required from a typical VMS, supports language options, dashboard functions, and so on. All right, so thank you so much. So that's the VMS topic for today. You can expect an email from me either today or maximum tomorrow morning with the exam link. You can do the exam within within 2 to 3 weeks. The date will be mentioned. Once you complete the exam, um, end of March or early April, we will issue the certificate because today is the last day of the month. So you have 2 to 3 weeks to do the exam. After that, we will correct and then issue the certificates. Okay, all of this done manually. It's not automatic certificate, so it will take some time. So it will be emailed to you directly. You can attempt up to 2 times, and all of the questions will be based on what we covered today. All right, thank you so much. Have a great day and be in touch. Thank you. Yeah, so the session is recorded. We'll be sending you the recording also. So please, you need to go through the recording and then complete your exam. That case, yeah. If there are any questions, you can ask. You can. I will be there for a few minutes. So if anything, just let me know. If not, please go ahead and disconnect. Session is completed. Yeah, the PowerPoint will also be emailed to you. Yes.